Hello, everybody. I'm not sure if anybody's here yet. This is an impromptu live stream. Today is my birthday, so I felt like doing one. Something to do. Some things I want to talk about, but I'll wait for people to come on board. Yeah, anything going on? Any questions about my work? What I'm doing with the channel? Anything I got coming up? Anything like that? Fire away. Also, if anyone's watching this afterwards, you can ask questions down below and I will get to them, answer them in the comments, or potentially answer them with videos or whatever. We'll see what I get and what comes up today and all of that stuff. So hopefully there's quite a few people out there. So hello, everyone. Keep joining in. Marks and Sparks, thanks for showing up. I know this is very impromptu and not scheduled in any way, shape, or form. I can't really schedule things right now in that terms. My wife and I don't know if you can hear him in the background there, but my wife and I recently, about a month ago now, got, I think it's a month now actually, got a puppy. So he basically decides our schedule for us. And he needs still lots of attention. He's only 3 months old. So he has to go to the bathroom a lot and lots of naps and food and all that stuff. So it's hard to schedule live streams, that thing of that nature. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Very much appreciated. So yeah, so that's what's going on in that realm. Can't really plan too much. So with that said, for coming up, I am trying to plan. Sorry, I just had some candy. It's making my mouth all weird. So I'm trying to plan a few different live streams coming up. It's difficult again, like with the scheduling. But once I get those going, hopefully those will be in good time slots. I don't know when it's going to be or when it's going to be. Oh, thank you, Judith. Appreciate it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure really what's going to go on with those, but I'll keep everybody updated through, as many channels as I can, that kind of thing. So some interesting topics. I don't want to say too much because you never know. Things might not happen based on schedules, that kind of thing. So, yeah, so I guess we're getting off to the track here about the recent controversy involving former Waffen SS soldier of the, first Galician 14th Waffen SS. And it had a few names as well, different names like that. I made a video about all of this. Oh, sorry, getting my own train of thought here. So that soldier was in the House of Commons when the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, came to Canada to give a speech, and there was an announcement of more aid for Ukraine and the war against Russia. So the former speaker, looks like I just saw from I hear that there's a new speaker elected today, which is not surprising. The speaker who did do this, Anthony Rota, resigned as a result of bringing this guest to the speech from Zelensky and praising him and having the whole everybody. And this is not just this isn't just the liberals doing this. Everybody was clapping, so it was real bad. And I talked about how Canadian MPs should know more based on what position they're in and what they do, and Canadian history and how the war in Ukraine has brought these things back up, and they should know what was going on. So I made a video about that, and those were my thoughts. It wasn't really too well organized, again, because I'm so busy. So I put that out. I'm not sure how long ago now. And someone took my video, parts of it anyway, claiming fair use, parts of me talking about how Rhoda called them fighting the Russians in the Second World War. I said, Russians doesn't quite fit because it should be the Soviets, because it's the Soviet Union, which includes, various ethnic groups. It's not just Russians. He said that's not a big deal, but then me calling this unit a Nazi unit, which is part of the Waffen SS, I don't really care about the whole Nazi nonsense of, all their racial BS. I don't really care. They're still part of the SS. They still affirmed an oath to Hitler and were dressed by Himmler and all of this stuff. So it's just bonkers to say that they're not part of the division. And then other people have come to me and said that the war crimes carried out under the Galician weren't actually part of the Galician division. They were separate police battalions that were doing anti-partisan / just straight up murdering people, particularly in Poland. Somehow different from that Galician division. Sorry for banging on the table. I got to work on doing that. It picks up on the mic. Yeah, so that was a whole thing. And then, he just rips me, rips how I look, attacks my appearance, says having a PhD. I talk about it too much. Okay, whatever that means. I just do it to show that this is my experience. So, this is what I do. And that's based on my experiences. And that's why I bring it up. So apparently that's a bad thing. So anyway, so that was, rather upsetting. So there was that all going on and all of that. So there's a lot of this going on. I'm getting messages from various people on all sides of this one for that video. So I want to talk about it a bit more today. Again, this is not scripted in any way, shape, or form. I wasn't really planning on doing a live stream today. I figured I had some time. My buddy Muggins back there is allowing it. We'll see how long I can stick around. So hopefully as long as possible. I hope he goes to sleep. So yeah, he might bark, but we'll try to get him to settle down. Anyway, so I want to talk about it a little bit. Got some questions going here. So, I'm still not okay with it. I don't think it was the right thing to do. Still think that people in Parliament should know better. There's still lots of evidence that this unit was involved in war crimes. And one thing I've always wanted to say, and it's hard to do this on social media, but though is the thing that keeps coming up is motivation, which is hard to talk about in a lot of senses because you can't speak for a whole group based on why they do things. You can only take different areas or different people and what they've said. So a lot of people are justifying the existence of this division because they were fighting supposedly for Ukrainian independence under the Germans against only supposedly the Soviet Union. Clearly was naive. I don't know. They thought that this division would somehow form a core of a Ukrainian liberation army at the end of a conflict. I don't know. I really don't know what they were thinking. The Nazi policies were pretty much clear by the time this unit is formed in 1943, with mass genocide already taking place, particularly in Ukraine, Poland, that whole area. The borders have changed a bunch since then. So it's just, to me, it's just utterly, utterly bonkers that you can, have this sort of sense that that's okay, that was their motivation to do so, was Ukrainian independence, working with the Germans, and then, coming and being part of these supposed police battalions, which are engaged in anti-partisan warfare, which is just code for murder squads killing Jews and other people. So, and a huge number of Jews are killed, Poles, a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of villages are wiped out, and this unit is part of it. So, people are just denying that these crimes even existed or that this unit's involved at all. It's just bonkers to me that there's so much evidence for this, and people still believe this. It's just crazy. So I've had some questions rolling in and kind of just talk about it going on. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish my thought. But the idea that makes this somehow okay is because their motivation was to have a, free Ukraine, which whatever that means, I don't see how that was ever possible under the Germans or the Soviets moving forward after this war. No matter how that one comes out, there's no way that there's a free Ukraine under Nazi Germany and their plans for the East, which we know was wholesale genocide, basically, to turn the Syria into the breadbasket of the supposed German Empire, and live, and setting a bunch of ethnic German settlers into the area to make it part of this greater plan. And obviously, the Soviets we're going to keep doing the brutality that they did. I'm not, denying Soviet crimes in this either, because they are no way innocent either. But it's just, that's naivete. I don't understand how that's possible. The whole guy that set this off, Hunka, and sorry, I'm just missing the comments here. I'll get to them in a moment. He has a blog about why he joined. He talks about his experience. He talks about when this part, because he was living in Poland as an ethnic Ukrainian. Again, I mentioned it, and I mentioned it multiple times. These borders shift all over the place. So that he's part of, the area that's occupied by the Soviets of Poland when they, launched their invasion in roughly mid-September 1939 after the German invasion at the beginning of the month. So he lives under there for a few number of years, obviously, until the Operation Barbarossa in 1941. Talks about how, people would disappear in the night and they were scared to talk and all this stuff about being under the Soviets. And then somehow the Germans come and it's all fine. It's just, he said it was fine. They were called civilized and all this stuff he's talking about in the period when the Soviets are in occupation, how he's in school with people, with Jews, and all of a sudden they're here and, running from the Germans, and doesn't understand why. He goes, they don't understand why. And in my head, I'm like, just ask them why. Apparently he didn't talk to them in that way, which is interesting. So he says the Germans didn't do any of this stuff. Nobody disappeared. It was all great. They could talk again and be Ukrainian nationalists and all this stuff. And it's just, that may have been the case, but they're obviously using them as pawns in their game to crush, the Soviet Union and certain populations in the East. So, I mean, it's just, and then he talks about his motivation for joining. He says it's for Ukrainian independence and seemingly a lot of peer pressure. That's an undertone of his blog, because he's youngish. He's 18 when he enlists, when this unit goes active, and he's with it through the whole war. So he's there with them the whole time. There's no mention of getting wounded or being off the front lines. He talks about how he went into the internment camp or POW camp, whatever, semantics at this point, in Italy. So he's there the whole time. So he's doing something. He's fighting with this unit. I mean, and to me, that's still bad. We shouldn't be praising any Waffen SS unit ever. So, and then to say that somehow the motivations for joining is a post facto reason to be okay with this is, to me, is just utterly bonkers. So anyone, yeah, thanks guys. It is my birthday, as I mentioned. I'm using that excuse to kind of have a live stream and hang out. So yes, thanks for all the wishes. And I really appreciate it. So I'm just going to go through some questions here. So question here is, how many SS came to Canada? I have no idea. Not a clue. Those details coming out. There's been work done on this. I don't know off the top of my head. It's probably a couple thousand. Again, complete guess. We know a bunch of Waffen SS came as part of the first deletion. They came after. It was a whole thing. You can read about this in other places. There's lots of articles out there, some good, some bad, some in the middle. Some are just outright apologia. Others are near Russian propaganda now, which adds a whole other layer to this. Anyway, so there's mention of, what the Galician division did, and there's some work from well before this took place. I read an article from 2002 about all this. So I find it's better to go older. It's kind of against how history is usually done, right? You want to talk about the new stuff, the new sources and all that stuff. But I find that older ones have a different viewpoint on all of this and aren't caught up in the political anger that goes along with what happened. So, I mean, there's a couple hundred from them. The numbers are unclear. Other Nazis slipped through. They just changed identities, got rid of the tattoos, the SS tattoos and all that stuff. Others just slipped through. Some were caught. Nobody did anything about it. Canada has a long history of this, of letting these people in and being okay with it. And the Cold War context obviously plays a part in this, which I will get to in a minute. But I just want to answer some questions while we're moving forward. So this is a really, sorry, I'm already talking, and it's so hot in Ottawa today. I think it's like 29 or something ridiculous. This is October and it's so hot. So if you hear something in the background, it's a fan. It's for the dog. He's a golden doodle, so he gets hot. So I have the fan going for him. So if it's too loud, let me know, and I will adjust. So this is an excellent question. So Waffen SS memorials, which there's more than one, which is a problem already in and of itself. No, as far as I know, they cannot be. Nazi symbols are not outlawed here. They can be displayed in certain cases. I mean, they can't be displayed on public property. I don't know if there's a law, but another thing that happened not too last week, I don't know, time's been a bit of a blur for me lately. There was a whole protest about education and having things to do with LGBTQ plus rights in schools and education, whole thing like that, the whole protest. So in Ottawa, we have multiple war memorials, not unsurprising. One is to the Indigenous veterans. It's on Elgin Street in Confederation Park. Someone put a flag on there that includes a swastika from this weird group of a few people. I don't know how big they are. They can be very big. They claim to be this is an Indigenous symbol when it's not. In this case, the one they're using is not. And they claim it's with a Thunderbird, which is an Indigenous symbol. They were hanging it on the memorial. Cops were called. It was taken down. There were some arrests. They're not necessarily said if they're linked. I'm not sure what happened, but that was on that memorial. So that happened before this Nazi thing happened in the House of Commons, and I'm going to call it Nazi thing. And if you don't like it, too bad. Hey, Muggins, you're okay. Take a nap, bud. Sorry, just whining a little bit. If I have to pop off for a second, it's just to get him to calm down. Buddy, you're okay. Calm down, bud. Take a nap. Sorry. I don't want to take him out yet because then he'll get too rambunctious. So yeah, so that happened. That was removed. This has happened before. There's been other Nazi symbols. As far as I can tell, you're allowed to have them. Well, I know you're allowed to have them. They can't be removed. It's not against the law like it is in certain countries. Muggins. Sorry, 1 second, everybody. Muggins, come down, bud. Come here, bud. Come down, bud. Sorry, everybody. See if he calms down. So yeah, so you can't. He's not gonna calm down. Hold on, I'm gonna get him. Here, bud. Buddy, come on. Okay, he won't come out. So anyway, yeah, so you can have them, and as far as I can tell, on private property, it's all good to go because they've never been removed. Muggins, come on, bud. Come on, buddy. I think he's grumpy from having a short nap. I'm trying to get back to sleep. So yeah, these are, sorry, this is all over the place, but it's my birthday. I think I'm allowed. So yeah, they're allowed. So there's nothing that can be done as far as I know. The private property, they're in cemeteries that are private property. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, thanks everyone for the birthday wishes. I'm just getting caught up here, guys. Oh no, you got loose. Okay, sorry. So this is Muggins, everybody. I don't think he's been on anything yet. Let's see if I can get him to. Oh, hey, bud. Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. He's very rambunctious. He's very small. He's not going to be very big. He's only 3 months old. So here's Muggins. Everyone's already calling for him. So here he is. And we can maybe get back to some other stuff. But yay, so here's Muggins. This is the first time he's been on here. He's trying to bite me because he's still a puppy, and this is what they do. So yeah, here he is. Hold on. Let me get something that might calm him down. He loves a good pig ear, so that might calm him down a little bit. So yeah, here he is. He's only 3 months old, not very big. He's not going to get very big. His parents aren't very big. So this is him. This is the guy. This is the cute one. The guy who bites me a lot. He got me good today. Yeah, so he's the one who's throwing my schedule for a loop. So it's hard to get much done because I got to watch him. And which is good because he still naps a lot. But he hasn't napped yet, so maybe he'll get tired. But I'll keep holding him as long as he'll let me. But I got a pig ear and he loves these things. So hopefully it's okay. Try to do this. I want to get back to the comments if I can. Hey, bud. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. So here's Muggins. Any Muggins questions, fire away. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Have your big ear. So if you guys, sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. Hey, bud. Yeah, there he goes. Hello. Oh, you know, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. Ow. Oh, you got me with a nail. Hey, bud. Have a big ear. Okay, I'm going to see if he'll go back in the street. Hey, bud. Get your big ear, bud. We'll have a nap. Sorry, everybody. I'm gonna move him. This is great. He's not very big. Hopefully I can get him to calm down. Okay, so yeah, so yes, lots of Ukrainians in the Red Army, obviously, Second World War. Yeah, I didn't know about that, about raising the flag. I think I've heard that before, but I'm not too sure. Hey, no biting. Hey, shh. Yes, they were, as far as I know, they were. Hey, bud. I haven't watched them. I'm not the biggest fan of his. Again, settle down, buddy. Hopefully you'll just get tired and calm down. He's supposed to be napping right now. Hey, bud. Settle down. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Muggins. Settle down, bud. He's not very happy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his videos. I haven't seen it, so I probably won't watch it because I just don't like the way he does his videos. But yeah, it's real bad, and it's been going on for a long time. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I mean, Scott's right. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, Pat is also. I mean, they were vetted on an individual basis, and then where there was no clear evidence of war crimes, they cannot prosecute whoever they're not war heroes. Yeah, they're not heroes in any way, shape, or form. I mean, they fought for the wrong side, plain and simple, and the SS are just awful. But I mean, okay, so this is complicated in a lot of ways. Hey, bud, lay down. Sorry, I'm trying to get Muggins to calm down. He's quiet for now. So I mean, buddy. Okay, this may not work. He's too excited. Bud, can you lay down? Buddy, lay down. Okay, sorry everybody. I don't think this is gonna work. Oh, he's laying down. Everyone, be cool. Yeah. Okay. So Muggins, settle down, buddy. He's overtired now, so he won't sleep like a toddler. Hold on. Okay, I think we may have to cut it and then come back. I just don't think this is going to work. And every time I say that, he goes quiet. Buddy, lay down. He keeps me busy. Hey, bud. Come here, bud. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah. Let's see if I can do this for just a few more moments. We got Muggins back. He doesn't seem all that interested in going to sleep. And yes, I saw the comments about Muggins getting his own channel, and he probably would have more subscribers than me. Yeah, because he's very cute and little and fluffy and a golden doodle, so they are very popular. Yeah, so they vetted the individual vets, so they say. I don't know what that means. There's always this claim that there's a lack of evidence. I mean, I've talked about this a lot, but there's the 12th SS, right? There's war crimes. There's war crimes committed by them, right? And there's ample evidence, and yet they still let some of the regimental commanders go, and yet they ordered executions, and there's tons of evidence. And hey, buddy, settle down. Trying to get him to calm down. Good boy. So I mean, like, just because there's this supposed lack of evidence doesn't mean A, it doesn't exist, because if you wipe everybody out, there isn't going to be any evidence. But I mean, it's just, I don't buy it, because then there's this commission in the 80s that supposedly clears them again, and there's stuff down in Britain and Australia, and I don't buy it, because I know the nature of these commissions. They have limited scopes. They don't, they do all kinds of different stuff, and it's not. It's just not so simple as that. I don't believe it is, because I've just seen so much otherwise. Hi, Muggins. Say hello. Buddy, you're okay. Yes, he's very cute, but he's also very bitey. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Buddy. He likes to be free, but he doesn't like to be alone. Plus, he can't be alone anyway. He does. He has trouble, Judith. Big trouble. He's very young. He's very crazy. He has a very little face. Yeah, and no, I am not a Felton fan at all. Honestly, he lies a lot. He makes stuff up. He just reads off of Wikipedia. He literally did that for a DF video. I did it. I pulled up the page. While I watched his DF video, and it was word for word. Like, that's bad. Like, he didn't even try to summarize it in his own way, or his writers, or whatever team he has. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not a fan. Hi, bud. Hey. Oh, he got me good. Muggins. Settle, bud. Here. Have your ear. you want lamb? Yeah. So, buddy. Good. He's sitting down for now. Whew. Got me good in the face. Sorry if I missed questions. Shoot again, and I'll answer them if I can. Hey, bud. No, you want your lamb? Which one do you want? He's very picky. Is anyone else's dog picky? He doesn't eat only certain foods, and he only eats a little bit, and he's just a picky guy. I mean, we should. We should have lots of historians, but yeah, I mean, I don't see that ever happening in any way, shape, or form. He's got one of his toys he loves. Yeah, I mean, yeah, casual. I mean, even then, but if you're gonna get it, you can do, like you can do basic stuff without it being bad or made up or sensationalist or pandering to wearaboos, which he does a lot of. I mean, it's all economic. He's all money based, right? It's all about the money. That's why he does it, right? He gets tons of views. He gets millions of views, and he just does stuff that wearaboos are gonna like. So that's hugely problematic. Are we tired, bud? Yeah, we're getting tired. Yes, he has. Anyone know Lamb Chop? He loves Lamb Chop. He's ripping Lamb Chop's face off. Buddy, you're okay, bud. So there's a question here from Tim. Hey, settle down, buddy. Here, bite this. Oh, the big ear. You want big ear? There's not really an equivalent unit. I mean, the brutality is just throughout. But there's the Kemputai, which are like the secret police. They were particularly brutal in how they dealt with things. And Scott's asking, Scott Grimwood is asking if there's, hey. Is there Operation Paperclip? No, nothing like that. Nothing official. Nothing, anything like that. Hey, bud. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, if he starts barking again, I'm going to have to jump off. But no. Sorry, you got me in the face. Nothing like that. Buddy. Okay, so other dogs are picky. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Pat. That there's this issue of they're automatically partisans because it's against the law, right? VidIQ. From the Nuremberg laws, they're not German citizens and they're automatically made criminals. So it's just that's mentioned in their own files and all of it. So it's a gigantic mess. Oh, I think he's coming down. Yeah, you got me good. I mean, yeah, I get the atonement thing. I do. I mean, it's just it's so complicated, and I get it. And oh, and here's the guy who called me out, who's watching the stream, and has got nothing better to do than insult how I look, apparently. And probably he's gonna get mad because I don't want him insulting me anymore. Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I've seen stuff like his son's involved in and things like that. And there's other people out west, like someone had a connection to University of Alberta, was in the same division, all that kind of stuff. So it's complicated. I just don't think any one of them deserves to be, clapped in Parliament for the past, especially for fighting the Russians, quote unquote, and all of that stuff. So it's quite a mess. And it's I get, and everyone keeps trying to remind me of how messed up the history of Eastern Europe is at the time, and I don't need a reminder. Again, I'm bringing it up again because apparently that's a bad thing. I've studied this stuff extensively for years. I've seen the primary documents. I know people. I've read it. I get it. It doesn't excuse joining the SS. It just doesn't. Lots of people were. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. I mean, there's always, white lies and omission and things like that. I see it all the time with any service, right? People will talk about how, you know, great grandpa was this great service guy, and, you know, he just drove trucks in Canada or the US or something. Again, not denigrating the service, but people lie about this stuff all the time. It happens. But when it reaches this level, this is a whole other thing, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, that's part of it. It was a whole, and I guess it's a good time to talk about it now. Oh, and thank you for the birthday wishes, everybody. Again, if I missed, I apologize. So yeah, so this is the thing I wanted to talk about in this sense is Logan's going to town on that figure. Is the Cold War context, right? This obviously has an impact on how this is still viewed today, and you add the new dimension of the current conflict in Ukraine, and that's brought that back up in a lot of ways. At the time, there was things like Operation Paperclip that Scott mentioned, which is bringing in Nazi scientists, other people with supposed information that could help. A lot of it ended up not helping. Like there's these claims that tests done in the camps were somehow helpful. They weren't. That's BS. Like they did freezing experiments and low, you know, gravity. What's the thing with the lack of pressure in the air for higher up elevations in planes and stuff of that nature? They did things like that, and all the information turned out to be useless. So I mean, it's part of that, but it's just this anti-communism that just blinded people to the point of hypoxia. That's the word. Yeah, lack of air pressure, lack of oxygen. Anyway, yeah. So there's this rabid, you know, blinding anti-communism that you know, allowed all these people to get away with these crimes, right? I talked about it extensively with Kurt Meyer and how that went down and how that allowed things to happen. And it's bonkers. And they let these people get away with crimes because they supposedly had information. Hey, I'm fighting the Soviets. Okay. So they didn't want to send them back to the Soviet Union. Yeah. And Pat read the same I did. They didn't want to send them to the Soviet Union because they knew what was going to happen. They would just outright execute them. So I guess they didn't want that blood on their hands. They didn't want to do anything with the Soviets to begin with because relations had already kind of broken down at this point, because this is what, 46, some of them I read, 46, 47 are getting sent to Canada. Some are sent to the UK from those camps in Italy I was talking about, where they were held as POW or not POWs. They're held as, I forget, enemy combatants and something like that. I don't know. It's all under the international law. So the relations with the Soviets are already broken down by that point. So they're not going to do anything like that. They're not really going to have relations with them. And then it gets worse and worse. We have this context of where everything having to do with anti-communism is okay. And we still have, and now that's just morphed into anti-Russian sentiment. And before anyone comes after me, like people tend to do, and watch my videos and take out sound bites that don't really fit the actual argument I'm making. I'm not in favor of what the Russians are doing. It's awful. It's an expansionist war of aggression. And it's not, and they're using the Ukrainians, not a lot of Ukrainians, a few thousand, as we've discussed here. I mean, the majority of that division was wiped out twice. Individual Ukrainian histories to try and tarnish the entire country in a current conflict. I mean, that's what war is. But we have to understand that there were still things being done. There were still war crimes being carried out, and it doesn't just give it away. It doesn't just make it okay because they were fighting against those we didn't like anymore, or all of a sudden we're so blinded by anti-communism. So it's a bit bonkers. And yeah, there was a lot of SS were recruited for all kinds of things. I heard stuff about MI6, stuff in the French Foreign Legion. That's big. That was huge. You know, Logan's going crazy over there. They use them in Vietnam and Indochina for their anti-partisan experience, which is just murdering people. So yeah, you know, it's messy, and I understand that. and I don't need to be told that from people. Not anybody here. Well, except for a certain individual who I hope is still not watching. Yeah, it's just bonkers. Sorry, there was a comment. I just think I just lost it. Yeah, I mean, things get messy. I understand that. Things are in context. I get it. I was thinking about this, and I know the situation is not apples to apples, but there's Poles who fight on our side, because they are on our side, without having to join the Nazis or even join the Soviet Union. I know there's other things happening there, but there's Poles that fight in Italy that were in the Soviet Union, mostly as POWs, got out and fought on ours, for us, for the Allies, against the Germans. I mean, I get the Ukrainian thing. I get it, the legacy, the genocide, which I can never pronounce. I can get the pronunciation right, and apparently that's another thing I do wrong all the time. So I get that. I get the messiness. I understand it. I mean, I know it's historical hindsight when I said earlier about, I can't see how this leads to Ukrainian independence. Wishful thinking, naivete, I don't know. But it's just I don't see how that was going to end well for them. Yeah, and they were a Dien Bien Phu. I mean, well, the French Foreign Legion was everywhere. It's an interesting area too of how that goes. And all of a sudden, these crimes are okay because we can use them for our own side. It fits anti-communism, so it's all good to go. When they should have been imprisoned or a lot of them executed. So one thing I also want to talk about, because again, sorry, I lost it. Yeah, about anything in Ukraine is politically charged. I mean, I talked about that in the other video. Is anything to be said anything about Zelensky even coming to Canadian Parliament would have been controversial from certain sectors of society before the whole Nazi thing. People would have been jumping on, Trudeau and his government for that, for doing that period. So, I mean, that's right. So this is an interesting area. So Finland. Finland gets invaded by the Soviet Union right before they are invaded by Germany in 1941. And Pat's right here. We supported the Finns initially. There was talk, it never went anywhere, really, of sending units to go fight with the Finns against the Soviets. There was some backdoor politics about maybe, using that and taking that flank before the Germans do it and putting troops in Norway, which, as we all know how that turned out in that part of the war in spring 1940. So that was part of it. But there was this, call to support Finland and with aid and weapons and things like that. And that changes after Barbarossa, right? The Finns join in, right or wrong. I mean, they were getting their territory back. They don't initially push across those borders. In some cases, they did. Nothing major. It's not like we're pushing on Leningrad or anything. But they went over the borders in some areas. And interesting, and this is more of an academic interest, is the declaration of war against Finland. Canada does it. Britain does it. U.S. does it. They declare war on Finland, but they don't really fight against the Finns, right? Because they're fighting against the Soviet Union. So nothing's really done with it. There's people of Finnish background or Finnish citizens, and they're not interned in Canada. I only know the Canadian context because I've looked at the records. They're not interned. Nothing like that is done. It was to talk about, the governments of all. This is against the government of Finland. This is against Finns. So it's messy. I mean, I'm not. And then there's things where they let, the Finns let German units in to Finland to fight against the Soviets. They didn't have to do that. I don't really know what advantage that gave them, because in the end, it didn't. Finland loses again to the Soviets. And part of that peace negotiation is that the Finns have to fight to get the Germans out of Finland. And they're made to do that by the Soviets. So, yeah, it's an awful, awful mess. And there's a lot going on. But, yeah, it's bonkers. Hey, bud. Yes, there's some SS in the French Foreign Legion. But yeah, so that's Muggins is being crazy again. Hey, bud, lay down. He will not nap. He'll probably nap later. Yeah, this guy he was finished. fights in the Winter War, joins the SS, and then joins the U.S. Army and fights against communism the whole time. But yeah, there's a lot of that there. Hey, bud. Let's see if I can take him back out again. I've been going for 40 minutes. It's pretty good. Hey, bud. Why are you barking? He's an angry pup. Hey, bud. Trying? There you go. And you try. No, bud. No, bite. Don't bite me. Okay, so see how long I get here. So see if I can get Muggins to calm down. So the other thing I want to talk about. Oh, thank you, Muggins. Yeah, we got Muggins back. Muggins is back. So yeah, for who came in late, this is Muggins. He's my pup. He's my new puppy. I've had him about a month, and he's 3 months old, and he's crazy. He doesn't like sitting still, even remotely at all. I know he's only looking for attention, but I think he has to pee. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, so another thing I wanted to talk about, and this can be something to ponder, but there's another anniversary coming up. Hi, bud. Yes, he is sweet and bites too. Hey. Oh, got me again. Bud, settle down. Got to do his little hug thing that calms him down. Hey, bud. Settle down. What was I talking about? Yes, so another anniversary coming up. Hey, chill out, dude. You're fine. He's tired of being able to sleep. Buddy, settle down. Settle down. So another anniversary coming up. Sorry. I know this live stream is not very good and we're all over the place, but I just wanted to hang out with you guys and show off Muggins a little bit. Ah! Settle down, bud. Have a pig ear. He is not food motivated at all. It's really weird. Okay, so real quick. So something I guess I'm going to have to leave with. Maybe I can pop on back after, but I doubt it. So thanks for hanging out with me for my birthday. Rah. Real quick. It was 40 minutes. Oh, he's crazy. So yes, it's my birthday today. Thanks for hanging out. So anniversary coming up, and I haven't got a chance. I've been to the battlefield. I have footage. I haven't had a chance to sit down and do it. Is the anniversary of the Battle of the Thames is coming up. The Canadian Legion put out a video just today. I can link it after if I get a chance. Yeah, that would be nice if he would just sleep, but he doesn't do that. Yeah, I know, Nicholas. It's weird. He's not food motivated at all. He's whining. He wants something. Hey. So, Battle of the Thames, right? That's where Tecumseh is killed. And I was going to put a tweet about this, and then I got busy with Muggins. I think it's one of the most impactful battles in North American history, specifically. I mean, the death of Tecumseh breaks apart the Confederacy that he was able to put together. That basically reached from the border today of, Michigan, Ohio area down almost to the Gulf of Mexico. In this central part that it hadn't been fully taken by the Americans yet. Buddy. Settle down. Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, he had this Confederacy and his death breaks it apart. So, to me, his death is what allows the growth of the United States. Yeah, they were pushing into that area already, going west of the Appalachians. I get it. But they had no organized resistance against them from all of those different peoples. So if they had Tecumseh surviving the War of 1812, maybe the United States looks very different. So again, thanks everyone for hanging out. My dog is very impatient. I think he has to pee because he has to pee all the time. So I don't think I'm going to get back on because me and my wife have to go have an early dinner. It's the only reservation we can get. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. And keep up on the social media. I don't think Muggins is going to be coming on a live stream again for a while because he does not calm down. I know he's unhappy. So I'm going to take him down. I think he's got to pee. Hi, bud. Just walked in, tire him enough. Anyway, keep up on everything, and I will get some live streams going when I can get Muggins unwatched. All right. Bye, everybody.